Welcome everybody to 44 and 1 with Tempest and GVizzle. We are going to continue our getting to know you first date questions by asking each other 10 benign,
hopefully
not too boring questions. Turn it over to Tempest to ask the first question.
So, where have you traveled? And I don't mean the shop.
I have not done a ton of traveling, admittedly. I've done a few like work trips. That's where most of my travel has come. So I went to like Chicago for a work trip. I spent some time in Moncton. I over a 4-day span, I flew to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver to Calgary, and then the next day to Saskatoon, and the next day to Winnipeg, and then back home. That all took place in like 4 days. I was exhausted.
Intense.
But yeah, I had a ton of travel. Like we went to St. Kitts on our honeymoon, but most of the travel that we do, we went to New York to see the Tragically Hip at a very small venue in New York.
Cliche. Canadians go to see Tragically Hip.
Yeah. It was their Fully Completely tour, and it was like their best album. They were doing a small venue, and my husband had won this like $1,000 travel voucher. So we thought, let's go to New York, and it just happened to be that the Tragically Hip were there. And Mister. So after the show, of course, like 98% of the people we met were Canadian. So after the show, we went, we followed a couple people to like the alley behind the venue because they were like waiting for the band to come out. There was only like 6 people there. It was like the 6 of us. So we just hung out. The security guard was amazing. He let us like stay because it was January. He let us get out of the cold and kind of wait inside. And then just as we were at the point where I was like, I'm cold, tired, feet hurt, they started to walk out. Oh, actually, I was complaining about being cold. So I was like, I'm going to go inside where the security guard lets us in. And I turn the corner and I see like one of the guys from the Tragically Hip, Rob with long hair. He comes out of the corner and I like immediately turn back around. I'm like, they're here. So we got to like, so we got to meet them. And I've got like a picture of my husband with him.
Cool.
He won a hat. So they're signing his hat, which was awesome. So we went to New York, but the majority of our travel is local camping trips, places we can drive to because we have the dogs. And I don't want to travel without the dogs. And I can't find anyone who would take care of them because they're ridiculous. So, my turn. What do you usually, I mean, I know this is a big chunk of your weekend, but what do you usually do on the weekends?
Well, I sit there and wait for you to talk to me, and I just hold my phone and I just look at it. And then when you talk to me, I'm like, oh, finally. And then I'll reply. And then I'll sit there and wait for you to reply. That's my weekend.
That's what I expected. Next question.
Yeah. It's the same thing I do every day, Pinky. I don't did I time that one well?
That's perfect.
Yeah, mainly go for walks. I like to see stuff in the local area and just crap. And sometimes literally crap on my time off too. And I like to read, play computer games, ignore my partner. She ignores me.
Healthy.
Yeah. You have to have a healthy level of ignoring. Yeah.
If it's a mutual level of ignoring, that's fine.
Yeah. And play with my cats. So I've quite a sedentary life. I like it. I like time to myself. And I just like no fuss. I'm not one of those people that likes to stack my free time with things to do. No.
No, I'm 1,000% on board with you on that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I used to always hate when I worked in an office and I get to work on Monday. People are like, "Oh, what'd you do this weekend?" Like, fuck all. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly how I like it.
Yeah,
that's exactly how
I like my time. All right. So on that bombshell, then, what would you do if you had enough money to not need your job?
Honestly, probably not a lot different than what I do. Probably sleep in a little bit later because I wake up pretty early. But I think I would have, after a couple of weeks, I think I would probably get bored of not, like there's only so much dog walking and video game playing that you could do. So I would probably, if I didn't have to work, I would probably then volunteer my time somewhere or do something that could take up a few hours of my day and contribute somehow. I don't know what that would be. We've got a local food bank, so I could probably do that here or other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I fill my days.
I'm with you on
I
that.
would start dog walking. So like free dog walking, because I wouldn't need the money. I would just walk other people's dogs.
I can imagine like how like just fit you'd be after doing that for a few weeks, walking everyone's dogs.
Right. I mean, would I have enough money where I would maintain? Okay, clarifying question. Would I be maintaining the existing lifestyle that I currently have, or would it be that I would have like excess funds? Because I've got like some renos to the house that has to get done.
Yeah.
But if it's maintaining the existing lifestyle, then
well, that's the thing is like if I won the lottery, for example, I'd still work because then you could live off the interest and not spend the winnings, and then you could have like a quite a much easier life. Could renovate your house, you did all these other things, and then you could get up every morning. Like we were saying about something else the other day, like if you don't have to be there, it makes it easier to do it. You know,
that's true. But then it feels like I'd feel like I was taking a well-paying job away from somebody else when I didn't need it. Like I would feel kind of, I don't know, feel kind of greedy. What is something you have always wanted to try?
but I assume I haven't tried yet.
Yes, a bucket list item.
So that's actually quite a tough one. Because through one thing or another, I've ended up doing the things that I wanted to do. You know, I mean, there was that orgy on the beach, there was that swingers party.
Check and check.
Yeah. But were those jokes? Who knows?
We'll never know.
No.
That's the thing.
I was going to keep it out there now and make it as awkward as possible. What's some more awkward things I can think of? Yeah, I stuck that thing there and... Nah, do you know what?
I once killed a man. No.
Yeah, nearly did a few times, but I managed to restrain myself.
There you go.
And I didn't have to shoot anyone when I was in the reserves, so that's all right.
That's promising. That's good.
Yeah. I think one thing that I always wanted to experience but never got the chance was to be a soldier, just because that was what I wanted to do after school. So I was doing my apprenticeship, and then I was in the Army Reserves when I was doing that. And then I wanted to join the Royal Engineers, specialise in bomb disposal. And I was going to do be an equipment mechanic. It's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But then I hurt my back, and then so I couldn't do it. And then that's how I ended up in psychology. So I kind of that's probably one of the very few things that I've never done that I wanted to do, but I was still kind of doing it because I was in the reserves. So I was in the REME. So I kind of managed to fulfill it. And then there was all these other things that I kind of do what I want to do. So I don't like, I mean, like, for example, check like your hair, right? So we were talking about your hair the other day, and you were saying, oh, fucking about with this filter. I wanted to do my hair. And then kudos that you did it, because I'm sick of my mates saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I'm just going to be dumb and not do it. And then, but I'm going to moan for years that I wanted to do it. And I can't fucking stand that. What TV series do you find yourself rewatching?
I actually don't rewatch a lot of TV series. There's like shows that have high rewatchability for me, but I don't go out of my way to like start the series from scratch, like Law and Order. And I'm so glad they have brought it back for a 21st season, the original Law and Order, not the other ones. Like that is a show that you could just pop into at any time. I prefer shows that don't have an underlying story.
Okay.
The magic for me of Law and Order is that you could watch any episode from any season and you know exactly what's happening. You don't have to follow the thread to like, why is that person doing that thing? You know what you need to know for that story.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely loved. Like I used to watch Supernatural, and I felt like the first 3 or 4 years of Supernatural was like that. You could just pop in, watch them battle Bloody Mary or a coven of witches, but then they started to weave in that understory, and you're like, fuck. Now it's like a soap opera now. And like now I'm stuck to see how they're progressing the story. I just want to pop in and out. Unless it's like such a subtle, like Elementary, which was right, it was such a good show. Like that one was the same. Like there was a small underlying story, but it didn't take away from like the
Yeah.
things that they were doing. And I think that those shows, if I see them on TV, I'll sit and rewatch
Mm.
them.
Interesting. So you're more likely just words. God, they're so hard. I just want to make sure I understood that correct. So you do rewatch things, but you tend to watch episodic storylines as they just happen on TV. You're like, oh yeah, I'll watch that episode. So you won't
Yeah.
watch the whole show.
No. So like if I want to, and which is kind of like I have purchased shows thinking like I own the like box set of Dead Like Me, which we talked about last week, because I thought I would rewatch it, but then I start and I'm like, oh, I already know what happens. So I don't want so I'm like, should probably sell this in the garage sale. So yeah, I just don't have I can easily watch movies over and over again, but TV shows, it feels, I guess because it feels like it's more of a commitment. Like a movie's 2 hours. If I'm going to start rewatching a show, it's like, how long is it? How many seasons are there? Do I really want to get in here when I know how it ends? Just doesn't.
Interesting. Yeah, because
not that I'm doing anything else with my time.
Yeah. I think there is a pattern to how I rewatch things, and it's if I'm going through a long period where I'm not sleeping very well, then I'll rewatch stuff because there's not enough shows out there that I'm currently watching to keep me going through those sleepless nights. We're talking like 8 hours of just nothing. So, I need to fill that time up, and you're too tired to actually do anything. So yeah, I tend to rewatch shows then. And also if I've been watching something really good, but then it ends and then I don't have anything else lined up, then I'll go back and rewatch something.
I can see the rewatchability of something when you're like tired, because you don't have to pay attention. Right?
Exactly.
Like if you're watching a new show and you're just trying to kill time, then you've got to focus. But if it's something you've seen before, like having stuff on in the background.
Yeah.
What's your hidden talent?
Well, I don't think they're that hidden. I mean, I'm handsome. I'm clever.
Talent's not handsome is not a talent.
Well, I had to hone it. You didn't see what I looked like when I was a teenager.
I did actually. You said,
oh yeah, you did, yeah. Yeah. But no, hidden talent. I'm not sure if I have any.
It's hidden even from you?
Yeah, I think it is. Among your friends, what are you best known for?
I don't know. I was gonna say the funny one, but they're all funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say the funny one, but like they're all funny. So
well, maybe you bring it out in them. You're the group glue. You're the grease on the wheel.
I could be. I could very well be. You never know. I'll have to ask them and then circle back with you. What is your guilty pleasure?
I don't have any pleasures that I feel guilty about. Oh, no, this is something that I like that I probably shouldn't. Isn't that what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Disney movies. Older ones, like I don't really like the new ones that much, but I liked Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Snow White. Don't like Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella. They're a bit cliched, but yeah, probably Disney movies, probably all sorts of nerdery and sci-fi, but they're not really guilty pleasures. I'm quite known for being a nerd, so but I don't think any of my blokey bloke mates would expect me to like Disney. Yeah, the peanut brains.
Well, they know now.
Yeah. Well, they don't watch the podcast, I don't think.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, I don't. There you go.
Next question then.
Do you have any besides Goza?
It's Zool.
That's Zool. Yeah, sorry. Zool you got.
I do. I have Zool is actually a cover-up of a tattoo, of another tattoo, and I have one on the back of my neck, and I have a tramp stamp, but I got it before it was called a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
When I got it, back in the olden days, it was just a lower back tattoo. So yeah, I have 3.
And they were cool back then as well. Like everybody was getting them.
They were, especially because it was something that was easily hidden, right? Like at the time that I got mine, it was 20 years ago, where there was still a bit of a stigma around tattoos. So you got it, if you got a tattoo, you got it somewhere that you could hide it from employers, and you could hide it when you wanted to hide it. Yeah. Now it's not so much. Now everybody has a tattoo. But,
it's got a bit crazy.
And even 20 years ago, it was still not as bad 20 years ago, but I worked in financial services, so it was a bit more conservative, and it was just like, just get it somewhere I can easily hide it.
Yeah, totally. What fad did you never really understand?
Most of them.
I knew that was going to be your answer. I was
Yeah, I just yeah, I'm not very into, like, I can't think, there's nothing that really stands out, but I've never been one to be like on top of like music fads or fashion fads or any of that stuff. I just can't be fussed with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, I mean, when I was a kid, I did have when I was very, very young, there was like a friendship bead fad.
What girl didn't have that?
Yeah, you put little beads in a safety pin, you put them on your shoelaces. That I did, but I may have owned a pair of acid wash pants once upon a time, but yeah, no.
Well, and I think I have fads in my life, but I don't have the fad. I don't join the fad that's going on, you know?
Yeah, I just can't be, I mean, it feels, unless it's something that I really enjoy, it feels disingenuous just to jump on something because everybody else is. Like, I've never been one to, I've always very much been, I like what I like, and if you don't like it, that's a you problem, not a me problem. So I've never felt the pressure to get into fads because it was just like, whatever. If you want to be my friend, that's fine. Yes. What would you change yourself about you if you could?
Oh, that's really tough. That's a harder question than you think, because there's a lot of things I'd rather not have gone through, or there are character flaws I'd rather not have. But at the same time, I wouldn't have the rest of me if it wasn't for that. You know? So, like, for example, sometimes I wish I was more sociable, or I didn't have some of my autistic traits. But then if I didn't have those, then I wouldn't enjoy my time alone so much, you know, or I wouldn't spend so much time reading and learning so much. And I don't know. I don't think I would, like, it just sounds so cliched, but I wouldn't change anything about myself because I'm aware of my capacity for being a dickhead. But the point is that I know when I am being a dickhead because I'm honest with myself, and then I can apologize for it. And I wouldn't be able, and then if I didn't have those things about me, then it wouldn't balance out the better sides of me when I'm not a dickhead. So yeah. What is the most relaxing situation you could imagine, apart from right this second? Because I know this is perfect for you.
I have an outdoor recliner in my backyard. So my favorite is like, it's gonna sound cheesy. We have a lot of trees in our backyard too. So when there's like a nice breeze coming through and you can hear like the rustling of the trees, of the leaves, and it's kind of like a nice sunny, temperate day, and I can just lounge in my outdoor recliner with a nice cold beverage on a beautiful day, reading a book or hanging out in the backyard like that. That is super relaxing.
That's not cheesy at all. And what I really like is, out of all the questions so far, that's the one that you answered quickest, I think. So it clearly is important to you to have that.
It's my favorite thing. Like, I love, especially like, so my husband usually sleeps in later than I do. So like on the weekends, if I can like get up and like grab a coffee and have that like just super quiet time where it's just me, even like the neighbors aren't out yet because it's early in the morning, just that sitting, taking a breath, being outside. Love that.
What's the earliest that you do that in the day, not the year?
6:30ish. But that'll be my up, get out, get the dogs out, just sit and be quiet before the lawnmower start and the kids start coming out. Like, kids, I don't know why kids scream when they play, but if there's kids out, then you hear like lawnmowers and cars and people moving around. Like, just that quiet, just trees and the birds. You hear the dogs running around doing their thing. It's best.
Yeah, I think that definitely resonates with me. Like I just love moments like that, of just that solitude and just the lack of other bodies around. And in the last place we lived in, it was in a cottage surrounded by fields. And if I couldn't sleep the night before, it was even better because I could do it earlier. But I'd do the same thing. And because there was only like 2 other families in this area, so I could go out and just sit on like the patio out the back, and then just sit with the cats. And it'd be 4:30 in the morning, and the sun's just rising and everything, and it's warm because it's summer. And then just literally no one, because there's not even any cars driving on the road or anything. Oh, fucking love it. Yeah, I miss doing that. And we wanted to get a recliner for the garden here, but we didn't last year, so because of the pandemic. So
well,
we couldn't buy anything
this year.
Yes, it's going to be a good year.
What makes you laugh the most?
Oh, that's a tough one. These are really hard. These have been really good questions today. They've all been quite hard to answer. Because I find so many different things funny. This will be cheesy, is that another person hasn't made me laugh this much as you've made me laugh the last few weeks.
That's the correct answer, sir.
Yeah. In terms of podcasts, Your Mum's House and Christina Pajitsky's podcast, where my mum's at, they make me laugh. They're fucking hilarious. When do you feel most out of place?
When I'm talking to adults. Like I know technically, I guess because I don't feel as adulty as I think a lot of adults I know do. I think like having kids makes you more adultier because you've got like different things to worry about and different things to consider. So like I'll talk to like some of my neighbors, and we're around the same age, but they've got kids, so they've got like different things to worry about or different I got to get them here and this there, and like trying to organize their time, and like I just feel like I can't contribute to that conversation. I don't really know what that feels like, and so it makes me feel like less of an adult for some reason. Like sometimes I'll meet people who are like a year or two older than I am, and I'm like, well, you probably should swear around them because that's disrespectful. It's like you're not 14, like you're 47 years old. You can do what you want. Yeah. So like, I feel sometimes I forget how old I am. Like I graduated high school in 1992. 30 years this year since you graduated high school. But like if I start telling a story about something that happened in the 11th grade, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, like 5 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm out of place around real grown-ups.
I get my silly side from my grandmother, I think. I think you would have loved her. She died years ago now, but she was so fucking funny. One day she used to like playing pranks on her kids who were all grown up, obviously, and one of my uncles had to go off and do he had a sales job, so he had a team of salespeople working for him, and in the morning he'd do that whole cheesy shit you get in the movies where he'd give them like a motivational speech, but he had no idea that she'd got up in the morning before him and then sewed a big white ball of fluff on the back of his work trousers. And then, so he's like doing this big speech, and then he's got this big fluffy bunny tail.
Like a bunny tail? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for grandma.
Yeah, she used to do shit like that all the time. And then
That's awesome.
Prank she played on me once was she sewed the end of my pajamas up when I was a kid. And then so I was trying to get them on, and I was just being so dumb. I was trying to pull my leg through and I couldn't do it. And she just creased up laughing.
Aw, good for grandma. She knew how to have fun.
Yeah. She used to do stuff like she had to go to the hospital a lot to have operations because she had Crohn's disease. And she used to get so bored in hospital just because she was so hyperactive. And I'll tell you 2 stories, and I might have to cut one of them out. Only because it's a bit rude. But anyway, one day she just leaves the hospital because she's bored, gets her bike, goes back home, and she's cycling across the seafront in Gosport. And then her surgeon just happened to be walking with his kids on his day off. And my grand sails past him on his bike, and he went, "Mavis, get back to hospital. You're not supposed to be out."
That's awesome. Good for her.
Yeah.
What would you sing at a karaoke night?
I'd have to be quite drunk to get everyone to suffer my singing voice because I can't sing.
Me too.
And it's like I think I'm tone deaf or something. I can't hit any notes. And so the last time I did karaoke though, I sang Papa Roach. What was it? Last Resort.
I like that song.
Yeah. What would you do?
I'm kind of the same. I don't do karaoke because I have a terrible singing voice, but I did karaoke once, and this place had like private karaoke rooms, so you weren't embarrassing yourself in front of an entire room full of strangers, just your friends. But it was like, it felt so shady because the guy's taking us down this hallway of like closed doors, and he'd open up a door so you could see the room, and it's like smaller, probably the size of the room that I'm in right now. And there was like 2 sofas and a television, and it was dark, and it felt like, ew, like,
yeah, it's
really. But then we had this like room where you're only making an ass of yourself in front of your friends. And that day I sang Pat Benatar's Love is a Battlefield.
Oh, brilliant. And did you do the dance moves there?
Of course, yeah, my ass I did.
That's amazing. I think when I'm drunk, I can get easily led into doing most stupid things like that, and just like getting up and doing something dumb. But if I'm sober, I just
I don't like to hear bad singing, so I don't want to put that on somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that I'm embarrassed. I just don't want to be mean. Like,
yeah. I don't want to make your ears bleed. Yeah. All right, then. So this next question actually goes in quite nicely with that. So, what skill or ability have you always wanted to learn?
I would like to be able to sing.
Yeah.
I would really like to be able to sing. I'd also like to have the patience to learn an instrument. I played the organ when I was a kid. My dad used to sell vacuums door to door. And like one year he was like the top salesman, so he won an organ.
An organ.
And so I was the only one in the house. I took organ lessons for a while, but I didn't really. It's not really a sexy instrument. So I would love to be able to like pick up a guitar, play it without having to learn it.
Oh, you must be meaning
to be a musical savant.
Yeah, I'd just love to be a glockenspiel everything.
Who is your favorite author?
Yeah, got a few. I like Stephen King, Terry Pratchett. They're probably my favorite ones. Stephen King, Terry Pratchett. I like. There's a whole bunch of other ones I like, but I think they're my top ones. I'm trying to think of any others now, but it's all just left my mind. Neil Gaiman.
If you haven't read Christopher Moore, read Christopher Moore. Please, sir. Start with Lamb, The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Childhood Pal.
Oh, yeah.
And then everything else he's ever
All right, so I've got a really poignant question at the end. All right?
Okay.
It's very deep, meaningful, so prepare yourself. What is the most essential part of a friendship?
Lack of judgment. I think that's an important part of any relationship, but like I want to be able to very comfortably know I can say anything to a friend and they won't judge me for it.
Yeah, totally.
That I could like be open or like share experiences or share thoughts, feelings, and not have them think like, oh, fucked up person.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
a lack of judgment.
I'd concur with that actually. It's I think that's it's definitely up there in importance.
My last question for you is not as poignant. It's, have you ever had a nickname and what was it?
Oh. So when I was a little kid, my grandmother called me Bisto. I don't know if that's a thing in Canada. So yeah, there's a company over here that make gravy granules called Bisto, right?
Oh.
Yeah. And so she called me Bisto because I look like one of the kids on the advert.
That's cute.
Yeah, and then everybody, like, for years would get me to act out the advert, which was really annoying in the family. And then now sometimes people still call me Bisto if I haven't seen him for a few years. So when I first moved to England, I had a really thick, strong Welsh accent. And it wasn't very fashionable to have that back then, particularly in England. And so I got called all sorts of shit at school, like sheep shagger. Yeah, from the teachers as well.
What?
Yeah. Say the magic words.
Fade to black.